And welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. We're talking about the CIF Southern Section of Football playoffs for San Gorgonio, the Skyline League champions. They got it done on the road at Bloomington in week number 10 to wrap up the outright league championship. And now they will go to the playoffs with a tough road test at Ramona. So San Bernardino versus Riverside. We had a chance to talk to head coach Chris Chaddick and offensive coordinator Gary Hedlund about the league title and also their first-round playoff matchup. And now join us here on the show on Sports Weekly on IEMG. It is Chris Chaddick, the head football coach for San Gorgonio, and his offensive coordinator and right-hand man, Gary Hedlund. And guys, first off, congratulations on the league championship. We do want to talk about the playoffs and your first-round playoff matchup. But first things first, the Skyline League title. You guys went 9-1, 5-0 in league play. And Coach Chaddick, I'll start with you. And Coach Hedlund, I want to get your take on this as well. You know, this is a team that I think they went 2-8 last year. Does that sound right? And you guys turned it around all in one season. I mean, what was the credit? What do you point to in terms of just the huge turnaround? What was it this year?
First things first, we're men of faith, and I have a big reason that I think it turned around is simply belief. God does all things for a reason. He brought this whole coaching staff here for a reason. The players believe in the coaches. I believe in the coaches. I mentioned in the paper the other day that I believe this is the best coaching staff in all of Southern California. I stand behind my statement. So when you have great coaches and you have high character kids that want to buy in, that are hungry, it's a perfect storm. So they got great coaching. They're kids that were hungry, and they're kids that, the seniors only had won 5 games in their entire career, and they just wanted change. They're hungry for change. They got the coaching that they deserved, and they have belief in their heart. And God does all things for a reason. So I truly believe that is why we are what we are.
And Coach Hedlund, specifically the offense, man, throwing the football, running the football. What was it about the offense this year?
Well, I think it all starts with Peyton Clark. He threw for over 2,000 yards this season. And more than that, he led the offense just as a person. He gets us in the right formations and makes all of our motions and our shifts and stuff work together correctly. And he's been fantastic for us. And then we have a lot of skilled players that made a lot of plays. Dylan Carolina as a running back has scored in every facet, from returning kicks to running the ball to even on defense. Javen Sawyer has been our leading receiver, 10 touchdowns receiving this season. Also had the scoop and score that led to the tying 2-point conversion in the Fohi game. And then Francisco Morales, another guy that went over 500 yards receiving. And then our offensive line, the unsung heroes of the group, with Chris Cornelius and Omar at guard, and Lala at center, and then Angel and Martin. So we would be nowhere without those guys, and I want to make sure to point them out because they've come a long way and gotten a lot better throughout the year. So it's been a really group effort.
Well, guys, going into the season, at least when I looked at your schedule, and I think I've talked to both of you guys about this. I knew Liberty was going to be tough. Liberty's tough for a lot of teams. But the rest of those games on your schedule, I'm like, they seem winnable, but maybe 6-4 or 7-3. Like, that would be a victory this season, considering where the program's been the last couple of years. But here you are, 9-1, and you're league champions. Do you celebrate that? Do you give the program, the players, the coaches a moment to kind of celebrate that just a little bit before you embark on this playoff run? And hopefully it's a long one for San G?
As we said right after the game, you guys have 48 hours to celebrate. We said you celebrate the heck out of it tonight. Go and get your Applebee's on. Get your $4 appetizers. Get your little Shirley Temples and do your thing. Saturday, party with the fellas. But come Sunday morning, be ready to wake up with the men and do that work. So I hope they're watching film. If you're watching this, you better be watching film, kids. So I just, as Coach Lawler, who's like kind of our team passer, defensive consultant, says, there's always an appropriate time to celebrate. That time was for that 48 hours. They're going to get league champ shirts that are going to be pretty cool. I'll get you one, Pep, so that I haven't given you any swag recently. So we'll reserve one of those shirts for you. Gary, you have anything? But
Yeah, go ahead, Coach Headland, because I'm just curious. Like obviously, just winning a league championship and going 9-1 is remarkable considering where the program was. But of course, maybe that gets you guys even more hungry. Maybe that motivates you guys and the players and the coaches even more. Like, hey, we are pretty good. Like, I don't want our season to end. How far can we take this?
I think that this season has been an absolute blast. Coaching these kids has been one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. And I will agree with Coach, this is by far the best staff that I've ever been a part of. And we don't want that to end. The kids have become a family, and we don't want this ride to stop. So, what I said after the game was that through the way we played through these first 10 games, and that bought us another week. Now, Coach talks about victory requires payment in advance. Well, we have to make those payments this week in practice in order to win our game, in order to continue our season, because that victory will buy us another week together, which that's obviously the goal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I do have to ask you about this matchup coming up. It's going to be on the road at Ramona. Ramona, an at-large team, 4th place out of the River Valley League. You guys are Skyline League champs. Don't get me started on why a league champ is going to travel to a 4th place team. But Ramona is good, and they could have easily finished at least in 2nd place in the RVL. I want to hear from both of you guys. What do you think are the keys to victory this week against Ramona in the first round of the playoffs?
Well, first and foremost, I learned a new word today, and I want to use it. It's going to be a very monochromatic matchup. Headland. I said, what does monochromatic mean? It means that we are the same color. So I know that we got to make sure that we don't throw the other team because they're the same color as us. So that'll be key in the matchup.
That's a good start.
That's a good start. But honestly, like, they're very well coached. Coach Mush over there is, he's a dog, man. He's been doing it a long time. So I give that dude the utmost respect. I know that, he can turn chicken crap into chicken soup, and he's proved that he can win with anything, with talent, this year was supposedly a rebuilding. He didn't rebuild. He just does what he always does. And, we got to be prepared to know that he's going to have a disciplined, well-coached, well-oiled machine. And we have to match that discipline. We have to match that effort. And it's just going to come down to simple things like, winning in all 3 phases of the game. Our special teams has to be right. Our offense has to be right. Our defense has to be right. We have to minimize mistakes, and we have to create turnovers on their end. Because honestly, this game might come down to a turnover or two. Pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I think so. For a first-round game, I think this is a pretty even matchup. Coach Headland, what do you think?
I think that what we have continued to say to our kids all year is that it's about us, and that the team that can beat us is us. So if we take care of what we're supposed to, we control our effort, we control our execution. We have a great week of practice. We put in the work and the preparation, then the game will take care of itself, and we'll be where we want to be. So really, it just comes down to taking care of us. Of course, we respect Ramona and respect Coach Masinski. I've gone against him a few times, a lot of fun battles. He's a great coach, a great man. He's turned that program into one of the premier programs in our area. So it'll be a great challenge for us. But truthfully, it's about us and not anyone else.
Well, it should be a good one. We're really excited about it. 2 local teams here in the IE going head-to-head. And, guys, congrats on the season so far. I know it's already a victory probably in your books about, again, where the program was and where it is right now. But I feel like based on the success you had this year, you don't want to see it end. You want to see how far you want to take this. So, guys, congrats. Best of luck come this week against Ramona, and that game will be on Riverside TV. Thank you, guys.
As the great Kobe Bean Bryant once said, the job's not finished. So we ain't finished yet. That pains me to say as a Celtics fan, but Kobe Bryant was the man, and we talk about that every week. The job's not finished, so let's work this week to be 1-0.
All right, that's Chris Chaddick and Gary Headland from San G here on Sports Weekly on IEMG. Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. San G versus Ramona is going to be a good one in the first round. We'll be right back here on Sports Weekly on IEMG as we talk high school volleyball at Indian Springs. That's next.